Good afternoon, 6-4 Owl parents. Mr. Hagedorn here with our weekly update. Next week, just a normal 5-day week. In Mass 6 Plus, we started our third 7th grade unit this week on proportionality and percentages. I can't talk all of a sudden. Right. So we're still kind of writing equations. This one's a lot more focused on solving word problems involving percentages. We're talking a little bit about writing those equations that can help us solve. All right. Next week on Thursday and Friday, students will have the study guide. We'll be wrapping up this unit next week. And then that following week, we'll have the quiz. But they're going to have 2 days to do the study guide because it's a little bit longer, this one, than the ones we've had in the past. All right. Mass 6. We started talking about the distributive property this week. We're going to move on to simplifying expressions next week, which we will continue to do the distributive property to help us do that. And then on Thursday, on Thursday and Friday, we'll be working on our study guide number 1 for Unit 6. All right, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
All right. 6-4 Owls. Sorry, we were looking at a plant in the window, got excited. Today in science class, if you want to ask your student, we did 7th grade elective registration for next year. So if you ask your student, they should be able to tell you the 2 top picks they had and the 2 alternate picks they had. If you want to have some power and influence over those elective choices, you can go into Power School with them, click class registration, look at 7th grade track 4, and you can edit their choices. And then whatever one is the last to submit is the one they use for elective classes. All right. So next week, we are going to be starting our next unit in soil. So next week on Monday, we're going to learn about the different things that make soil. I call those the soil ingredients. And then we're going to talk about the properties of soil, which is the way we classify soil, like fertility and texture and water retention. And then we're going to talk about soil profiles and horizons. These are the different layers of soil, and then we're going to use that later in the week to figure out different parts of the world and why they have different types of soil and why different plants and animals can live in different parts of the world based on the soil there. So we're going to be all things soil next week. It's only about a week and a half unit, so it's pretty short. Other than that, I think Saturday is a washout. So I'm hoping soccer games on Sunday are not canceled. Have a good weekend.
Okay, friends, let's talk a little quick language arts. So we are just about finished with our book Flush. We did chapters 15 and 16 today in class. We're going to do 17 and 18 next week. And then we're going to start a mini essay where we'll be looking at Carl Hyacint's perspectives through the book Flush, and we'll write a short little essay that will also include a summary of the book thus far. So how much they understand about exposition and rising action and climax and falling action, those kinds of plot point things that we've been talking about through the story. When we finish Flush in the following week, we will then bring back World Without Fish, and that will be kind of how we end out the unit and end out the quarter in language arts. In social studies class, we're going to be continuing our conversation around historic economics. And so we're working right now on a Mesopotamian trade game where students are doing a trade activity with the things that was traded in and around Sumer and Mesopotamia. When we're finished with that, we'll be working on the Romans, a little bit about trade with the Romans, the Silk Road as it came across Asia. We'll do a little bit of the Indian Ocean trade from Africa into Asia, and we'll also talk about the gold and salt trade of West Africa. So that's what we're going to be going in economics. If we get done with our economics unit before we track out, which we might have 1 week there, we will talk about social structures, how historically we've ranked people and treated people of different ethnicities or race or religion or gender or all of those different things, power, how we rank people in the ancient world. So that's what we've been doing. So hopefully you had a good week. We will see you next week.